Welcome back, Cancer. Let's get you ready for your May 2023 update. We're first going to cover the aspects of what's happening and then straight into your zodiac sign to cover your romance house, your career, wealth, and wellness, and anything else I may see for your zodiac. Let's have a look at the transits and what is coming through. Now, we did just exit stage of the previous eclipse. Eclipse always comes and sets, and the very first moon out of the gate is going to be a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Now, it is occurring on the 5th of May 2023 at 15 degrees. The next is going to be a new moon in Taurus on the 19th of May, which is still in the nodal axis, and it is at 28 degrees. Now, as we do move into the month, we already are entering a retrograde cycle. Not only will we have Pluto going retrograde, but it's the first time within the zodiac sign. And I do believe it's going to make cuspy energy where it does come to the Aquarius Capricorn axis. So because of the degree point, I still believe we will be working out both sides of the fence. But in the retrograde, it may give us an opportunity to revisit those circumstances and really find some missing pieces of what's working and what's not, but we will go back into that further within this update. Now, the first week can be intense because not only is Pluto moving retrograde, Mercury is retrograde, but the eclipse is happening. So yes, do expect some grinding of teeth and some patience that is required in the first week to 2 weeks. Mercury, as mentioned, is still retrograde. It will be until the 15th. We are having grand trines, so there is some positive energy that will be coming through, especially as we are going to be having Jupiter exiting stage. We're wrapping up that energy really in the area of Aries. There can be some wounds that do come up, but I also feel, really pushing ourselves after that previous eclipse. In the first 16 days of the month, we can be really working through those things that can be brand new chapters, as well as cycling out old ones simultaneously. So Jupiter will enter into the house of Taurus on the 16th of May, and it will be sitting there for its 1-year cycle. So quite a large subject matter of Taurus will be coming through this month. Now, the other energies that we need to look at is the fact that currently we have Venus sitting in the house of Gemini during Mercury retrograde. Cross wires can occur. Misunderstandings, we may be really reviewing our values and really probably up in our heads wondering what to do. We can be very fixed with our goals, and also within connections, we may want the connection at an intellectual level, but at the same time, we're going to want personal freedom. So it's like a push-pull dynamic that comes through. The energy of Gemini is quite independent and it loves the intellectual stimulation. The hard part is at the moment, crosswise and miscommunication can happen in the area of Venus. So that can be with your friendship groups, with your contracts, definitely frustrations, especially where it comes to our working life and living life at this point. Venus will be entering the house of Cancer from the 7th. This can be positive, but we also do have Mars that currently is sitting in the house of Cancer, which is deemed as in its detriment. Why could that be? More so because Mars is sort of the energy that wants to move forward. It's where the obsession can be. It's the passion. It's the power. We can collectively be having issues within tribe, issues within our security, the fight and flight that we're going through, especially within the first week. Also, it can be where we give our power away. So it's like I empathize, I understand. It's a little bit like Libra, apart from the fact, on one side it's the reactivity, on one side it's the emotional side. We can be more passionate with our belief system. So this position of Venus moving into Cancer from that point until we reach the 20th, there can be some tension points. So just to keep that in mind. Now, the other way it can play out is that we can empathize and understand. We can be very gentle and understanding. We can be very creative. And creativity really this month may be the key. Although with the retrogrades, we may feel we're going 20 steps back to go 20 steps forward, and it's not permanent. It's quite temporary, but there can be some really old situations cropping up that we need to wrap up and tie up. Now, Mars moves into the house of Leo by the 20th, and this can be when we have a lot more clarity. So don't be surprised if suddenly you have these major revelations. I do believe we may have subjects to do with kings and queens, and this can be prime ministers and presidents, and also, yeah, superstars really being in the media, quite out there. They could be getting themselves in trouble. That is one way it can play out. But we also could have very passionate feelings towards those individuals. Without further ado, let's look at how these eclipses and the moon plus Pluto moving retrograde is going to hit your zodiac and then straight into romance. Now, Cancer, as you are moon energy in nature, very similar to Leo. During the eclipse cycle, you may need to be very, very patient with yourself. Your emotions can be heightened at that time. Your intuition also could be very heightened. Now, you're going to be highly susceptible to vibrations. So it's good to give yourself a day either side to really navigate that, to tap into your emotions. And it's really good to have that self-awareness. So, how are you feeling? How are you navigating this? What subjects emotionally are coming up? There are some tension points. We have had Mars sitting in the house for quite a while. I do believe once it exits stage, you can feel quite tired. Some of you can feel quite burnt out at this point, even if you do have a lot of energy. Sleeping patterns also can be a little bit off. So just try and be patient. That's the first piece of advice I'll give you talking about these moon phases. Now, the first point of call we need to address is the fact that as we enter into the month of May, we are having Pluto moving retrograde. Now, regardless of whenever you listen to this video, this month it will be retrograde. And so, yes, the direct impact we can be feeling as we're moving out of last month into this month. And again, as it's retrograde, these are the subjects that are going to come up for you. It is linking to your 8th house. This can be to do with intimacy. It can be to do with tax, debt, legacies, inheritances. Anything that's hidden, I do believe during this time of its retrograde, it's going to come to the surface. This can be emotional and psychological. This can be really looking at your life and saying, okay, in my life, at a financial level, at a physical level, what directly can I depend on? It also could link to insurances. It could link to, really going through your bank account, other people's money, how it's used. This can be also, when we look at other people's money, this could be bank accounts where you have savings, investments, shares. Yes, it could be lotteries. But again, I do feel overall it is going to be a lot to do with the fact that you're looking for that stability, you're reviewing it, you're feeling, okay, I have some sense of action plan. And a lot of you, if you don't, you may find during that retrograde cycle, you're going to find such. The other area that you have had difficulties with, because Pluto had been sitting in this location for quite a while, which it will revisit that, is if you had any conflict with a past partner, or a contract, or your body, your Venus energy. Those things can come back up if they're not addressed, or it could be something that you cast out and it's coming back again. Nevertheless, it will come back for a karmic close, just to review that all those creases are ironed out and you effectively have a correct map and you're going the right way. During the eclipse, it is going to be linking to children. It can be, and it's scorpionic. So there's some sort of ending that is coming through with children. For some of you, you could find out that you're pregnant or going to have a child together. For some of you, it can be you're ending a creative process or a social habit. This could be a physical dietary habit. And there could be a change the way you relate to a romantic interest. If there were wounds associated to the past, also feel it can play out that way, but old subjects that hadn't been addressed maybe over the last year and a half, these things are coming to a head and close. So if there was something that you felt you needed to do in addressing such, this also could link to siblings. So if there was a conflict you have with siblings, it could be some information coming to the forefront. It also, again, it could be social situations and creativity. So it could be a creative project, you're wrapping it up, and you're maybe casting some situations out of your life and bringing new ones in. Overall, it's going to make more sense as you move through it. Do prepare that it can be quite tense. The way you relate to romantic interest can be tense, and also because Mercury is retrograde, we can have those blasts from the past coming through. Now, in your romantic sign, you're going to be very passionate. People are going to find you very attractive. You may be very confused at the fact that people are finding you attractive, and you're wondering, okay, do I have a sign written on my head? It is because of the placement of Mars at the moment, which really, really oozes charisma. You might have been more moody than usual. This could have been through fatigue and through really stressing or obsessing over situations in your life. Some of you have had, like I mentioned, a great deal on your plate. I do feel during this time there is going to be an opportunity to revisit a romantic connection, but I also feel simultaneously your mind moving to the future is going to be addressing circumstances of the past. So this could have been a past romantic interest. It could have been a situation relating to having to wrap up a divorce. There is some sense where you're going to be either psychologically or physically dealing with a past tense situation and wrapping it up. There is a possibility of pregnancies during this time. If you were having issues and it had gone on the back burner, maybe now is the time where this new chapter is coming through. The other thing in your life is you can be up in your head really questioning, what is your part in a situation? Where are you going? Are you on the right path? This can be, for those of you within romantic connections, confusing another individual. It is going to really be a time where the clarity will come to you. But like I said, I really feel you're going to have to give yourself a week. As we do move further into the month, I do feel subjects to do with confidence, sexuality, self-esteem, they are going to be more in a bolder way, feeling more open. And I think that to be quite positive. I also feel many of you are wanting to change the way you look. This can be going into diet, routine, looking to the future. But I feel what you are directly looking for is something that you can really depend on. But there is a shift happening within your romantic sphere, and you are going to be attracting the changes that you need. But I feel you're going to be brutally, honestly looking maybe at a financial situation for some of you and how you can get the best moving forward. Don't forget to look at your sun, moon, and rising. Your ascendant always will give you the most accurate read. Otherwise, you can book a private session with me to tune into such. Now, in your career sphere, we had the eclipse last month, and a lot of that is still playing out. Even though we've moved away from it, you can have the rumbles continuing, and there's definitely some shifts of puzzle pieces happening in your career sector, be it you are looking for new employment or you're looking at different ways you can address it. New changes are happening in your circle. It is going to increase, and it is going to be some subject that you're going to be focusing on quite heavily as we move further into the year. So yes, this month it can still be happening, especially in the first 16 days. I do see this to be quite a, it's almost like go gadget legs. You're going to be quite busy in that department. Now, there is an opportunity for wealth, and wealth may be something that is lingering really heavy on your mind. You also could end up having lady luck. So this can be lotteries, it can be wins. You're definitely going to be taking on a large creative project. And I do feel spiritually, a lot of you are looking at your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. But whatever this is, this could be moving into management. This could be moving into a different sphere. And I definitely see if there is a conflict in a negotiation, whether it be asset related, say you went through separation and you were looking at such, there also could be some conflicts where it does come to management. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's break it down. I'm seeing there's a possibility that if you are you're earning, you're working hard, but you're seeing less in your hand, you're going to be looking at a way that you can actually identify how to address such. This could be something that has been an avoidance, and I feel if you've been conflicted about it, I feel you will be looking at it. But I also see beautiful possibilities coming up for you. You can be valued more so. Tension and focus is going to be put into your wealth sector. Some of you are wanting to have more financial stability moving ahead, which really is going into the next section, which is financial stability. Those of you running home-based businesses, try and be patient. Some of you can start to do things differently, maybe to enhance it. Some of you could be returning to work for a temporary cause, to get the business back on track so that you can actually transition your future forward. Because I do particularly feel with Jupiter entering your 11th house, there are money opportunities here, but there also could require some money to be able to maybe get business launches up and going. Now, as for wealth, like I said, I really did feel your career sector was really morphing into the wealth sector. I do see lady luck for you where it does come to maybe some wins, gifts, lady luck. Some of you can really have a dream position given to you, a dream role. I do feel some very big goals are being manifested at this point in time. What can they look like? It can be marriages. It could be purchasing a house. Whatever this large goal is that you're personally looking at, I do feel there's going to be a method to the madness, but some of you, it's almost like you're going to be thrown in super drive and all of these radical ideas are going to come through. But I do think that's happening mid-month and beyond. Jupiter's going to push you out of your comfort zone. So be it you are going to be learning new skills, you're going to be maybe training individuals. I definitely see the way you are dealing with money is going to be very different. You do have a large ability to gain more. If you are in a romantic connection, I do see that there are going to be some changes where it does come to spouse's income. This also could come through by a past tense person and some situation changing, but something that is hidden coming to the forefront. So that can be quite positive too. But I definitely see for you individually, really looking to your resources and saying, okay, what am I needing? What am I not? This can even be getting down to the crunch of, in the Venusian style of things, who is taking you to your cause and who's taking you away? Is it something that you have of a, yes, it could be insurance that you find you're not using anymore. It could be that you have a subscription for, a certain channel, Netflix, for instance, and you're going, okay, can I do that? I do think, though, overall, this is increasing the net worth and increasing the income. You may also spend money on your image this month. I would say if you were going to do anything that is to do with image and dynamic and beautifying yourself or even treating yourself, I do think that you're best to wait till after the 16th because we can particularly feel a bit off with that. A lot of you can be more social this month too. So I would try and keep your schedule as flexible as possible. If you're busy, just don't say yes. Otherwise, you're going to be pulled in different directions and you're going to be very tired. You can also have friends from the past coming back. Some of you also could be really saving for some grand dream. This could also be for Jupiter-related dynamics. It could be for a home, a bigger home. It could be for marriage. It could be for a house. Whatever that dream is, you're going to be working towards it. Now, your wellness sign. I do particularly feel for a lot of you, burnout is possible. I also feel emotions can crop up during this time. And a lot of you can be very nostalgic. Your thought processes, your dreams, and you tuning into love. It's almost like your mind may become a little bit obsessive during this time thinking about some things. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you have the love of your life in your zone, or you're doing something that takes you, to bliss, that's fantastic. but it can be that you're thinking about all these endings, all these wrap ups. You do have a very busy mind at the moment, so that can be affecting your sleeping pattern. I do particularly feel there can be some crosswise where it does come to friends and roles at work. I also feel Jupiter expanding this network can be that you're earning as much as you're spending, and I do see increases there. But I just feel, keep the goal in mind, otherwise you may not reach the target. The other thing is, some of you are aching for a holiday. Now, there is a potential, but I do think what you are looking to is the sacrifices you're willing to make a dream come true. So I see a scale psychically, and I see you actually saying to yourself, okay, what in the short term can I sacrifice for the long term? This could also be for retirement one day, or a big plan, as I mentioned before. Now, as to eating patterns, with the 12th house of Mercury retrograde at the moment, I do particularly see that there is a possibility of overindulgence with pacifiers. So near the new moon, either side of it, be cautious. Don't go to extremes. Psychic attacks are also possible. Also near the eclipse, really, if you're doing any spiritual baths, do them beforehand. Give it 2 days before the eclipse. So don't do any meditation during it. 2 days after as well. And then if you need to clear your home, do such. Check all the use by dates when eating any produce at this point in time. So, even if it's going down the traditional route of, okay, look, smell, taste, texture. Okay, right, we're good to go. We can get a bit off with our stomachs, I would say, in the first week to 2 weeks. And we also could be overindulgent with Jupiter entering Taurus. Definitely get some sleep. Check the use by dates. Be aware of your stress levels, because everyone collectively is going to be stressed. It is shifting and it's going to go quite Venusian style. I also feel keep your hydration up. Now, if you are wanting a personal booking with me, you can go to the link directly below. We do have limited spaces. However, if you get in first in, best dress, we can interpret your birth chart, which is very separate to the collectives, to get the most accurate reading you need. Take care, beautifuls, and I wish you the very best.